শ্রী রীতা ব্রতা ব্যানার্জি।
ধন্যবাদ স্যার। আই রাইজ টু অপোজ দ্য বিল। স্যার, 1970 সালে 71 সালে বিপুল পরিমাণ পূর্ব পাকিস্তান থেকে মানুষ তারা ভারতবর্ষে আসতে বাধ্য হয়েছিলেন। যে মানুষ ভারতবর্ষে আসতে বাধ্য হন তারা কেউ ধর্মের কারণে চলে আসেননি। প্রাণ ভয়ে, প্রাণ হাতে করে এই বাঙালিকে, যারা বাংলায় কথা বলেন, তাদের কাঁটাতারের ওপার থেকে কাঁটাতারের এপার পর্যন্ত পালিয়ে আসতে হয়েছিল। কেননা পাকিস্তানের শাসকরা, পাকিস্তানের রাজাকাররা, পাকিস্তানের খান সেনারা বাংলার এবং বাঙালির বিরুদ্ধে যুদ্ধ ঘোষণা করেছিল। এই 1 কোটি মানুষ যারা এসেছিলেন সেই সময়, 1 কোটির বেশি মানুষ যারা ওপার বাংলা থেকে এপার বাংলায় এলেন উদ্বাস্তু হয়ে, এই মানুষ এখন এই বিলের মধ্যে সরকার বলছেন যে পাসপোর্ট এবং বৈধ প্রমাণপত্র তার সময়সীমা বাড়াবার কথা। এখন যে মানুষ প্রাণ ভয়ে পালিয়ে এলেন, কোনো কিছু নিয়ে তো পালিয়ে আসা সম্ভব নয়, প্রাণ ভয়ে পালিয়ে এসেছেন। এবং আমাদের দেশের তৎকালীন প্রধানমন্ত্রী ইন্দিরা গান্ধী বাংলাদেশের মুক্তিযুদ্ধে যে ভূমিকা পালন করেছিলেন, বাংলাদেশের মুক্তিযুদ্ধকে যেভাবে সাহায্য করেছিলেন, এবং বিশেষ করে বাংলার এপারে, কাঁটাতারের এপারে অসংখ্য ত্রাণ শিবির খোলা হয়েছিল, অসংখ্য শরণার্থী শিবির স্যার খোলা হয়েছিল। এই অসংখ্য ত্রাণ শিবিরে, শরণার্থী শিবিরে এই বাঙালিরা, ওখানে এরা বাংলা বলেন তাই এদের টার্গেট করা হয়েছিল। এখন ঘটনা হচ্ছে যে পূর্ব পাকিস্তান, এর আগেও ঘটনা ঘটেছে 52 সালে বাংলার বিরুদ্ধে, বাঙালির বিরুদ্ধে পূর্ব পাকিস্তানের শাসকরা তারা আক্রমণ চালিয়েছেন। বাঙালি এই লড়াই লড়তে গিয়ে, রক্ত দিতে গিয়ে স্লোগান দিয়েছে, ওরা আমার মুখের ভাষা কাইরা নিতে চায়, যে ভাষায় কথা কইতো আমার বাপ দাদায়। নিজের ভাষা রক্ষা করার লড়াই, সেই লড়াইয়ে বাঙালি রক্ত দিয়েছিল। এবার 70 সালে বাংলাদেশের মুক্তিযুদ্ধ, আগে বাংলাদেশ তখনও হয়নি, তখনও পূর্ব পাকিস্তান, এই যে যারা পালিয়ে এলেন, এখানে শরণার্থী শিবির, সেই শরণার্থী শিবিরে, ত্রাণ শিবিরে থাকলেন, তারা মারা গেছেন, তাদের তৃতীয় পুরুষ এখন বসবাস করছে। স্যার, এই প্রমাণপত্র আমি সরকারের কাছ থেকে জানতে চাই যে কোথা থেকে স্যার এই প্রমাণপত্র আসবে। অ্যান্ড আই স্যার ওয়ান্ট টু টেক দিস অপরচুনিটি, এভরিবডি হ্যাজ স্পোকেন অ্যাবাউট দি আইডিয়া অফ ইন্ডিয়া, and I will definitely quote Tagore, because our national anthem, actually that is a 5-stanza poem. The first stanza has been received, we use the first stanza as our national anthem, but the rest of the 4 stanzas are equally emphatic. The second stanza, Tagore categorically says, অহরহ তব আহ্বান প্রচারিত, শুনি তব উদার বাণী, হিন্দু বৌদ্ধ শিখ জৈন পারসিক মুসলমান খ্রিস্তানি, পূরব পশ্চিম আসে তব সিংহাসন পাশে, প্রেমহার হয় তব গাথা। You call us to unite day and night, Hindus and Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs, Parsis, Muslims and Christians meek, East and West throng around your throne. We move to wave a garland of love. You bring unity to the people. Half a minute, sir. Victory to you, victory to you, victory to you. Unfortunately, the idea of Tagore, sir, half a minute. I, sir, crave your indulgence.
Not a minute, just time is
sir,
over.
half a minute, 30 seconds.
Yes, please,
I crave your indulgence. This idea of Tagore is under attack today. The idea of India is under attack today. We are facing the bonds of partition. Bangali, partitionের জন্য তার ফলাফল আজও ভোগ করছে। We have partitioned our soil. We must not partition our soul. আমাদের আত্মা যেন দ্বিখণ্ডিত না হয়। আমি আবারও এই বিলের বিরোধিতা করছি।
Thank you.
Rada Banardi, your time is 2 minutes, but I will give you 2 more minutes.
Minutes. You other people, you said 3 minutes.
No. Everybody, I am giving 2 more minutes. You are also giving 2 more
Thank you,
minutes.
sir. Sir, first of all, my party have always had this position that railway is a public transport, and the public transport necessarily must have government support and allocation for its running. Now, looking at a public transport like railway as a commercial entity is fundamentally wrong. Unfortunately, this paradigm shift to a large extent has taken place in the case of our railways. Sir, in a country like ours, rail, which is the cheapest mode of communication, crores of common people are using them. In such a case, passenger fares cannot be fixed on cost-benefit theories. The budgetary support is not sufficient, and the support is also day-to-day decreasing. Railway seeks supplementary budget support. Every year we are seeing that there is a seek for supplementary budget, more support there. Now, sir, we feel that there is no justification for a reverse flow of funds from the railways to the general exchequer in the name of dividend. Sir, the Standing Committee on Railways has examined the issue of paying dividend by the railways and have recommended
the practice of paying dividend to the general revenues be kept in abeyance till the financial health of the Indian Railways improved and the proposed investment plan is implemented in its entirety. Now, sir, I want to point out the observation of Ministry of Railways in this regard. Honorable Minister is here. The first memorandum submitted by the Ministry of Railways to the committee reveals many startling observations. While arguing against payment of dividend, it pleads, number one, railway should not be equated with other purely commercial public sector undertakings. Number two, a dividend relief at this time would be strong boost to railways. Number three, a dividend relief will significantly ease out debt servicing burden on a long-term basis. Now, sir, railway is a socially responsible organization. We cannot forget that railway is doing this, and it is giving concession not to one or two categories, to 53 special categories of people. The railway are giving concession, incurring heavy revenue loss. And sir, the revenue loss incurred by railways in view of the concession actually should be reimbursed by the central government in addition to the gross budgetary support, sir. Now, sir, total amount of revenue loss to the central government by foregoing the dividend will be minuscule, but the railways, it will help them to tide over some shortfall. Now, sir, bullet train, my colleague, senior colleague Derek O'Brien was speaking about this bullet train. Recently, China has announced that it will be running a bullet train 380 km per hour. Last year, on the anniversary of the People's Republic of China, the president there had announced they will be running a train to the base camp of the Mount Everest. This is only possible through government support. The entire railway system there is publicly funded railway. No private participation is there, sir. And lastly, which point I want to mention, Derek O'Brien was speaking here. Incidentally, when I was in school, Derek O'Brien's father, whom I admire very much, legendary Neil O'Brien, who has been the father of quiz in our country, he had come to a program, a screening of a movie was there, he spoke on that, spoke on Satyajit Roy. I want to conclude, sir, I reiterate the position that except for technical reasons and bureaucratic compulsion, there is no justification for payment of dividend on the capital owned by railways. Now, sir, the point I was making, Satyajit Roy's Pather Pachali, his debut film, that was screened. Legendary Neil O'Brien was speaking there. I was a student of class 6 at that period of time in 1991. So, in that film, that Pather Pachali, you can see a little boy and a little girl, they are running through the fields. A train is moving. That is the most significant picture of that entire film. That film which got the Golden Khan Award, later Roy got the Lifetime Achievement Award, the Oscar. But that in that particular passage, that particular portion of that film, a young boy with his elder sister running towards the railways, that manifests the dream of the Indian people. And if the dream has to live, public support, government support has to be in a very large way, big way. And so I, again, as Derek has said, other people have said, I also feel my party feel that this dividend must not go. Dividend must stay with the railways. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
One question, sir.
No, I will allow.
30 seconds, sir.
हाँ
30 seconds.
हाँ पूछो
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मेरे जो समझ में आ रहा है कि डिविडेंड तब दिया जाता है जब प्रॉफिट हो। मैं बस रेल मंत्री जी से ये जानना चाहता हूं कि रेलवेज को कितना प्रॉफिट हुआ कि 12,000 का डिविडेंड दे रहे हैं, बस ये जानना चाहता हूं।
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the incident of Jallianwala Bagh massacre of 13th April 1919 is a gruesome incident of cold-blooded annihilation. Now, sir, as already it has been mentioned, Pratap Singh Bajwaji has mentioned about, he said West Bengal, Shapunda corrected it. Yes, it was actually Bengal, because Bengal and Punjab are the two areas which played the most important role in our freedom struggle. I just want to quote a government data. Minister is here. In one of my questions I had asked that whether it is true that the revolutionaries from undivided Bengal were the largest contingent in the Andaman cellular jail. The answer was there were 585 revolutionaries in the cellular jail. Out of them, 398 were from undivided Bengal and 95 were from Punjab. So you can imagine that how Bengal and Punjab had their role in the freedom struggle. Now, sir, you have already mentioned when you were speaking about that famous letter. I want to mention this letter because it is very unfortunate that this letter does not find a proper place of mention in the memorial. This letter is taught in different universities throughout the world because this letter is treated as a most heart-rendering letter of protest
I quote one section of the letter when Tagore was renouncing his knighthood, quote, "The time has come when badges of honor make our shame glaring in the incongruous context of humiliation, and I, for my part, wish to stand shorn of all special distinctions by the side of those of my countrymen who, for their so-called insignificance, are liable to suffer degradation not fit for human beings," unquote. Tagore not only renounced his knighthood, protests were not being organized. Tagore himself came down to the streets. A Guardian paper, I'm quoting the Guardian quotes, quote, "Tagore, the electric philosopher and passionate political activist, not only renounced his knighthood, but organized up to 6 protests in a single day in the city of Calcutta." Sir, I will take half a minute. In the first protest in which Tagore was speaking, Tagore, when he was protesting the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, after the renouncement of his knighthood, Tagore said, when he was completing his speech, protesting the massacre, Tagore said, "Chitta jata bhoy shunna uchcho jata shir, gyan jata mukto jata griher prachir, আপন প্রাঙ্গণ তলে দিবস সর্বরি বসুধরে রাখে নাই খণ্ড ক্ষুদ্র করি." Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, when knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. I will request the government that a statue of Tagore must be there at the memorial, and this letter must be properly depicted, because history, I believe, sir, there may be efforts to rewrite history, because out of these 398 people from Bengal, 95 from Punjab, we are in cellular jail, sir. Nobody gave a mercy petition. No, I'm just saying, sir, history cannot be changed. History remains undecided and refuses to end. Thank you, sir.
Sri Honorable Vinay Vishwam ji. Honorable Vinay Vishwam. Please.
Thank you, sir, for getting a rare opportunity.
Name is there, na? Name is there. No, he is not there. I called him, Mr. Banerjee. Yes.
Sir, the House has been an integral part of our parliamentary democracy. Sir, democracy in our country is deep-rooted. It is not only from the first general elections of 1952, even we go back to the 16 Mahajanapads, there were instances where people chose their own government. There were republics at that time. Now, incidentally, when this house was long ago, as Mr. Vaiko was telling, when he came here, he was very interested to hear to the roar of great people speaking in this house. Now, here in this house itself, many years ago when the house started, there was a discussion about palimpsest. Congress was in large majority, the opposition was there, but the opposition also spoke about the palimpsest. Now, sir, what is palimpsest? Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister, invoked the very evocative example of the palimpsest. In ancient times, before the discovery or invention of paper, the palimpsest was either a wooden or stone tablet on which every victor would erase the past history and write his own version of history. But in this very house, as Pandit Nehru, the statesman and the historian, pointed out again, India is an ancient palimpsest on which layer upon layer of thought and reverie had been inscribed, and yet no succeeding layer had completely hidden or erased what had been written previously. That is the beauty of our country. That has been the beauty of the house. And in fact, when the Sino-Indian border conflict was going on, one opposition member of parliament has urged Pandit Nehru to call the parliament. Parliament was convened because Pandit Nehru believed in the battle of ideas. Atal Bihari Vajpayee had urged Pandit Nehru to convene the parliament, and to ensure the battle of ideas, the parliament was convened. Now, unfortunately, sir, we need to ensure at least 100 days of sitting, because this is a place that ensures the battle of ideas. And this is a house of the state, sir, the rights of the states. That has to be the priority that needs to be protected. The working days, as many other members have mentioned, and what Mr. Shiva was speaking out, this house must not stifle voices. The voices
as like people who are sitting here, you also know the pain when you used to sit in the back benches. You know how it is, you go on craving for indulgence to have 1 minute or 2 minutes. So the voices of the members must not be stifled. And most importantly, I sir want to quote, I will take maximum a minute. It was actually Swami Vivekananda, while speaking in Chicago, he had said, I pity him from the bottom of my heart and point out to him that upon the banner of every religion will soon be written, in spite of resistance, help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension. Assimilation, not exclusion, has been the beauty of the house, and as this house actually, this house represents the unity in diversity, all diversified forces from the country. We have different food habits, different languages, and as I will speak in my mother tongue, for half a minute, I will quote Tagore, the Maverick Tagore. Keho nahi jane, kar ahane, koto manusher dhara, durbar srote elo kotha hote, সমুদ্রে holo ara. হেথায় আর্য, হেথা অনার্য, হেথায় দ্রাবিড় চীন, সখুন্দল পাঠান মোগল, এক দেহে হলো লীন। পশ্চিমে আজি খুলিয়াছে দ্বার, সেথা হতে সবে আনে উপহার, দিবে আর নিবে, মিলাবে মিলিবে, যাবে না ফিরে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে। The English in a nutshell, that none can tell at whose beckoning vast waves of humanity merged into this very great sea called India. All came, all gave and all took, mingled and also mingled with others. None shall depart dejected from the great shores of the pilgrimage and the idea of India. I believe from the core of my heart that this very house will go on championing the battle of ideas and the idea of India. Thank you, sir.
धन्यवाद रीता ब्रता जी.
श्री ऋतव्राता बनर्जी नहीं है
Sir, his
Sir, Mike, yeah.
थैंक यू.
No, it is not on.
ये माइक ऑन है अभी भी. They want
on है.
actually speak.
मेरा वाला अभी ऑन नहीं हुआ, मैं तो जगह में ही हूँ.
हो गया.
जरा
Thank you, sir.
ऑन कीजिए.
Sir, it is always very encouraging for us when new institutions of higher education are established in our country to cater to the growing aspirations, the enormous potential and the vast needs of our population, majority of whom are young. Sir, I stand here to support this bill on behalf of my party. Sir, but it is our duties as parliamentarians to bring into the attention of this august house, the Honorable HRD Minister is here, that some lacunas as far as this equitable access to quality education is concerned. Sir, for instance, both these institutions which are already have started, if you look into these institutions, they are functioning from temporary campuses. There are no proper laboratories, there are no libraries, there are no high quality IT or engineering tools for training. Sir, can we imagine an engineering college without a functioning laboratory or library books? The fact is there, sir, an acute shortage of infrastructure in terms of accommodation also. We have a situation where we have created an institution which was not ready to be launched, but in a haste to put the foundation stone as announced, we have gone ahead. I am sure that the Honorable Minister will look into this matter and this will be rectified as soon as possible. Sir, this type of institutions, when they were established in our country, sir, there are three aims which with these highly esteemed institutions were established. The first aim was to bring out brilliant professionals in our country, जो हरिवंश जी अभी जिक्र कर रहे थे, मेघनाथ शाह, जेसी बोस, बाकी लोगों का सीवी रमन. तो ये पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू at that point of time had stated that, I quote, they will be the architects of our modern India, unquote, so that we produce brilliant professionals in the professional education who would be brought out through the centers of excellence. The second aim, sir, was to improve the quality of higher education in the country so that it could act as an encouragement to other engineering colleges and technology institutes, as a result of which the academic standard and standard of education in other institutes can also rise. Sir, the third aim is very, very important, but unfortunately it is being ignored nowadays. It was to ensure that poor and common people get an opportunity to have quality education in the centers of excellences. These institutions, sir, were started with a long-term perspective, thinking that professional education imparted in these institutes will be a better way to improve quality of education. Now, sir, the question is, after 55 years have passed after the establishments of the IITs and 10 years of the establishments of NITs, have we been able to achieve the goals? We need to look upon this. Now, if we look into the present scenario, Rajiv Gaura was speaking about that, our recent FICCI report, FICCI survey, it shows a figure that 6% of employers are dissatisfied with the quality of our engineering graduates. A UGC survey I was going through recently, a survey of 1,471 colleges and 11 universities. It have found out that 73% of the colleges and 68% of the universities have a quality that the HRD UGC considers to be medium or low quality. Yet, unfortunately, what we are spending, the money the government is spending, the country is spending, is far below the promised 6% spending of the budget on GDP. It is a very abnormal low spending we are doing. Now, sir, I want to come on to, into another aspect. A working paper on the quality of engineering education in BRICS. In the coming days, the BRICS will be happening. It will be happening in China this time. So, a quality of engineering education in BRIC countries has been released. I was going through that paper. According to that paper, average spending per year in engineering education is the... Sir, I crave your indulgence. I will finish in 2 minutes. Sir, according to that, average spending per year in engineering education is the lowest in India among the BRICS countries. We are spending $1,300 a year. People's Republic of China spends $4,300 a year per capita, and Brazil spends $5,000 a year. Even our fellow BRIC members, companions in the developing world, are leaving us behind. They have policies that focus rightly on the quality and not just quantity. While we are on BRICS, let me mention that in terms of higher education and training, Russia is 47 among the 148 countries surveyed in the world. We are ranked at 91. I am sure the Honorable Minister will, when we will be answering, he will be pointing out how we can improve this. Now, in global rankings, sir, our IITs are featuring among the top 200, but our NITs are not. Now, we have to think over why this is not happening. Now, the point is, sir, 82% of the country's engineering graduates are ending up in professions that do not require an engineering degree. What is the government doing to align the establishment of educational institutions like this NIT, which are approving today with market research, so that we know what employers are looking for before we push our youth through an engineering degree, sir? Now, recently, sir, the Ministry of Human Resource Development have increased the annual fees of the IITs will be raised from 90,000 to rupees 2 lakh. This is a huge increase. The government says that the SC, ST and OBC students have got reservation and concession of fees. But the SC, ST students, sir, get only 50% of concession. That means they have to pay 1 lakh. But interestingly, even for getting this free concession, these students from the deprived section have to deposit the fee at a time of admission that will be reimbursed later. Sir, just a minute, just a minute.
Finish.
Sir, I am finishing, but I will urge upon the government that this equitable access of quality education, which has been a very long time demand of us, that must be taken into consideration. और जहाँ हरिवंश जी बोल रहे थे, मैं सुन रहा था, खास करके इतने बड़े-बड़े साइंटिस्ट का नाम लिया गया, इतने टेक्नोक्रेट्स का नाम लिया गया. Actually, the center of learning, if we look into our country, when Bakhtiyar Khilji attacked India, before that, the center of learning was India. After that, the center of learning चला गया, दूसरी ओर चला गया, वेस्ट में चला गया. So tolerance is a very important issue. बख्तियार खिलजी जब नालंदा पर अटैक किए थे, उसके पहले सेंटर ऑफ लर्निंग हिंदुस्तान में ही था, इधर ही था, वो चला गया. मैं करेंगे just a minute. I just request the honorable minister that this question of tolerance in this educational institution, अभी तो कभी पता नहीं है कहाँ है. तो actually Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in his first convocation in address at the Allahabad University, had said about these universities, about this institution, I quote, a university stands for humanism, for tolerance, for reason, for the adventure of ideas, and for the search for truth. So it stands for the onward march of the human race towards even higher objectives. If the universities discharge their duties adequately, then it is well with the nation and the people. I am confident that the ministry, the government will work upon so the well-being of the people is ensured.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Shri